Well, another big story today about corruption in the Trump criminal syndicate. The Intercept just wrote a damning report accusing Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law, of massive corruption. This story is just one more example to highlight how the Trump family has turned the office of the presidency into a cash register. Just today, I reported on Ivanka's corrupt behaviors, cozying up to the world leaders at the G20 in what could be an attempt to promote the family's financial interests as a trade for selling out our country. Now, before I tell you this damning news, let me just set the table here. Whether it's Donald Trump Jr. and Jared Kushner colluding with Russians to get opposition information on Hillary Clinton, or President Trump constantly promoting his own family businesses, or Ivanka meeting with world leaders that could lead to profits in the tens or hundreds of millions of dollars, this is the most corrupt presidential administration in history, bar none. And now Jared Kushner is following in his daddy's footsteps. Well, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Charles Kushner, the crime family patriarch, his papa went to federal prison for illegal campaign contributions, tax evasion, and witness tampering. Now, keep in mind, according to some amazing reporting at The Independent, Charles Kushner is very much involved in running the Kushner family business now that he's out of prison. He has literally teamed up with Richard Gottlieb, another fellow inmate who pleaded guilty to securities fraud, money laundering, and tax evasion. That's quite a tandem. Kushner, who has turned control of the family business over to his brother and mother officially, is still very close to the company, obviously, and as The Independent reports, his felon of a father, quote, remains central to the company. And all of that so you can understand the context of what The Intercept just reported on. 3 anonymous sources are now confirming that Kushner solicited $500 million to go directly to the Kushner family, plus an additional $4 billion loan to push Kushner-run properties. $4.5 billion? What? What? $4.5 billion with a B. That is some corrupt shit. After Qatar said, thanks but no thanks, coincidentally, Trump took a major shift in foreign policy, and instead of our previous neutrality between the two countries, Trump came out publicly against Qatar. All of this while Secretary of State Tillerson called for an end to the Saudi-Qatar divisions. The Intercept explains how bad the Kushner family finances are. They say, quote, that hard line comes in the wake of the previously unreported $500 million deal that was never consummated. Throughout 2015 and 2016, Jared Kushner and his father, Charles, negotiated directly with a major investor in Qatar, Sheikh Hamad bin Jassim Al Thani, known as HBJ for short, in an effort to refinance the property on Fifth Avenue. The whole Kushner crime family could be out in the streets like Mortimer and Randolph in trading places, putting poor Ivanka Trump in a very dangerous position financially. They could lose everything if sources are to be believed. They tried to threaten Qatar using American foreign policy as a cudgel. And after the Qatar government said no, this is what Trump tweeted. So good to see the Saudi Arabia visit with the king and 50 countries already paying off. They said they would take a hard line on funding extremism, and all reference was pointing to Qatar. Perhaps this will be the beginning of the end to the horror of terrorism. He continued, during my recent trip to the Middle East, I stated that there can no longer be funding of radical ideology. Leaders pointed to Qatar. Look! So just like Trump wanted to work with the Russians on a cyber warfare project to protect America, he says the Saudis are the protectorates against terrorism in the Middle East, and he probably got all that information from the same people who told him that Obama wasn't even really an American citizen. And we know for a fact that Kushner was involved in a Saudi business because the Trump administration leaked his involvement in negotiating a supposed $110 billion arms sale between Saudi Arabia and Lockheed Martin. It's corrupt, and I have a feeling the FBI will be looking into all these behaviors soon. If I were him, I'd be pretty worried about joining the Kushner family business, going to federal prison just like his papa. My name is Daniel Goldman with Content.News, where we are always free to share the truth.